Hello you wonderful people and welcome back to the Crested Gaming Lounge. In today's video I will give you my first impressions of a relatively new MMO I tested out not that long ago actually. It is called Astellia and it's an MMO that was released in Korea as of late 2018 and in the West sort of late 2019. It boasts to be a sort of revamp of the old school MMO but done right. It also has a very unique feature in the form of the companion system called Estelles. These companions can be collected in form of cards. Yes, I know, it sounds like a collector game, but it's not, trust me. And then they can be summoned to aid the player in combat, either as damage dealer, healer, or tank. So it is sort of like a companion or a pet, really. You have one active Estelle at any time, but you can have multiple of them active at the same time, but only for a brief moment. So it's sort of like an active ability that will summon another Estelle for you for a few minutes. Character creation. We must always talk about character creation in MMOs. The character creation is very extensive in Astellia. You can first choose from preset appearances that you like, and then you can customize those options as much as you please in very great detail with sliders and color options, all of that. Worth mentioning is the fact that this game does not have any races whatsoever. You can sort of give your character like elf-like ears, but that is sort of about the extent of it. You're very much a human or humanoid. Right, classes and roles. There are a total of 5 classes that all have 3 advanced class options or specializations, if you wish. The classes are Warrior, Assassin, Archer, Scholar, and Mage. The start leveling areas. I always like to sort of touch upon this a little bit. I know that most MMOs don't have a very extensive start leveling zone, but I still want to touch upon it. As with many MMOs, like I mentioned, there is not really there is one shared start area. Nothing really specific for classes and such. There is nothing really noteworthy, I would say, about the start area here. It's very much, the tutorial style start area. Other than you can sort of find and help wild Estelles, those companions we talked about, and then you can add them to your team as you've helped them out. Quests. We must always talk about quests, people, because quest is a very quintessential part of an MMO. The quests themselves are very easy to follow, as you have the option to click the quest objective in your log on the right-hand side of your screen, or if your screen. It will automatically move you to the objective you need to go to. I will say, though, for such a new MMO, I am a bit disappointed that no more of the dialogue in the quests, not even the story quests, are more voice acted. There's really nothing of that. They sort of give you sort of a greeting phrase when you first talk to the NPC. There are of course very pretty cutscenes, but they're very poorly dubbed, as you can clearly see that the voices do not really match the subtitles. Since there are subtitles, actually, I assume for the original Korean, the original Korean voice, but it does not match up at all. Gameplay and combat. That is very important. That is a very important component in any MMO, really. The combat is very familiar for anyone who has played an old school tab target MMO before, but it still feels new and fresh somehow, as it gives you the option to chain together abilities to more fit your playstyle. The gameplay is very intuitive and familiar, even though it can feel a bit clunky at times, but it does not really, subtract, I think, from the overall experience. Graphics. Graphics, like I have mentioned in my previous videos, are not really that important, I would say, but the graphics are very beautiful in this game, and it sort of gives you almost that World of Warcraft, almost cartoony feeling, as I'm sure you know if you've played World of Warcraft. It had that sort of Yeah, like I said, it's sort of a cartoony feeling. I do like those MMOs a bit more than the ones that are hyper realistic. Those don't really appeal to me that much. Bugs and glitches. I know this might not be the most interesting category, but we must talk about it. I must admit that it seems as the game is a bit poorly optimized. I don't know if that is just the like Western release. I haven't really looked into how the Korean release looks like, but it does lag unreasonably much at times, even though the connection to the server and there's nothing wrong with the hardware either. All of that is working properly, but it seems to lag a lot at times. The issue has been brought up by other people here on YouTube, and I've talked to other people as well, and they have brought this issue up. But it seems that even this is not enough to actually ruin your overall experience of the game, and I do tend to agree with that. Actually, it did not really detract too much from my experience. After a while, I didn't even notice it that much. I do have some issues when trying to stream the game, however. I do hope this is sort of an issue that they are working on fixing. Audio. Audio, I would say, is probably a bit more important than graphics. If you have good audio and good audio design, you could make an entire game with just that. The music in this game is very atmospherically pleasing, I will say that, and the sound effects feel really appropriate. What I mean about appropriate is that, for example, the sound of a swinging sword really adds the feeling of weight to the attack. It gives you the feeling of that you are swinging a big sword or you are shooting a fireball. It gives that effect. It's really well done. The only thing I can really complain about when it comes to the audio in the game is the cutscenes, like I mentioned before. The English dub of the scenes seem very flat and does not really relay the emotion and feeling that I'm sure the scene is supposed to have. It seems like the English voice actors lack the motivation. They don't really carry the emotion.
It's been a while.
Difficulty and also a sort of pace of leveling, but mostly difficulty. I do like the difficulty of this game. It is easy enough to get into, but it still does not baby you all the way. For example, if you aggro too many enemies and you are not prepared, or you have a character that's very weakly armored, you are in trouble. This adds the need for you to group up when going, into certain quests or dungeons. And that is a fresh bit of air in, the MMO world, where many other similar titles to this game have a tendency to baby you around a bit too much. And when you get to the point where you actually come in contact with end game content and other players, you have no idea where you fit into that group scenario and what your role is. Right, my overall opinion then. My overall opinion on Astellia is it's a very well-crafted game that pays sort of a homage to the golden age of MMOs, but it still adds its own twist to it. So I believe it is very much worth a try if you are, on the lookout for a new MMO to play. I must mention, though, that it is not without flaws, obviously. So I do hope that the developer of the game will work hard on fixing these things that I have mentioned. For example, the stutters and lags at times, because I do really hope this game will be around for many, many more years, because I think it deserves more time in the limelight than it has gotten so far. But right, guys, that was sort of my first impressions of Astellia. This time it was a new MMO that I haven't really touched upon too much. There will be more MMO-related videos coming in the future, people, so keep a lookout for that. There will be one new video a week, so or you will have to grill me in the comments if there is not new videos coming up. But until the next video, guys, I hope that you have a great morning, day, or night, wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video, people. Bye-bye!